Good morning, Raptor Freak. Alexiot's here. The morning after the first preseason game against Philadelphia 76ers, I went to the game. I got there really early. I have to say, I'm super impressed with the Air Canada Center, Scotiabank Arena, with how they're handling the COVID stuff to the safety precautions. Way better than Skydome Rogers Center. I felt a lot safer, and their system was just better. Like they had the building open way early. So you could have gone down there real early, like before 5 o'clock almost, and sat in the arena. They wanted everybody to get in an easy, like safe way. And they didn't have anybody sitting near us. Like we were really like it felt really safe and really smart how they were doing things. But we got down there very early. So I was able to see a lot of stuff before the game and a lot of things that were happening with guys shooting around like an hour before the game. This is something I used to do years and years ago when I worked there. I would come to work and I'd get all my prep work at the sub stand done, and then I'd go sit in the arena before the public was even allowed in the building and just watch the Raptors shoot around before the game or the other team or whoever. And one day it was actually, well, this is another story for another time. It was the Curry brothers when they were really young. When I was working there, they were out there shooting before the game with their dad when he played for the Raptors. But that was really cool memory. But one of the Curry brothers was here last night, Seth, and the Philadelphia team. Boy, all right. Embiid didn't play in the game, but I'm going to tell y'all something. That hour before the game, he was out there on the court the whole freaking time working out. And I saw Embiid like doing all these different drills with a taller coach on the Philadelphia team. And he looked really good, guys. Like this guy's a really good player. And, I fear him to a degree. Just as long as, we can get a guy on our team that can match him physically, like Marc Gasol used to, and we didn't really. All right, I'm going to get into this next. But yeah, if you wanted to see Joel Embiid last night, you had to come to the game an hour early because he put on a show just working out before the game. He was even taking weird backwards half-court shots over his shoulder for a while there. But anyway, Drummond played instead at center, and we didn't do nothing with him. That was messed up. Drummond got his double-double in the first half. Like each quarter of the game last night was different. The first quarter of the game was the Raptors didn't know what the hell they were doing. They were really flat. Like sometimes they just start flat and they have a really hard time just scoring. And they definitely had that last night. It took them a while to get their first basket, and it just didn't look good in the beginning there. It was hard to get into the game. And really in that first half, Andre Drummond kind of owned the court. He was just rebounding everything and scoring. We had nothing. We couldn't do anything with him. So one thing the Raptors did not prove to me last night was that they can control a big man down low. They didn't do anything to stop Drummond or any of the Philadelphia 76ers. So this is still something we need to prove and be able to show in a game. And I know we get Khem Birch back and we have Boucher out there also, and more experience with Pascal. We'll do way better. But our questions at down low and guarding down low are still wide open. Nothing was proved last night, and we we won the game, and we were awesome. Like honestly, that was a very inefficient game. There's so many things that the Raptors did poorly last night, and they still overwhelmed Philadelphia with talent. It's amazing. Like seriously, they turned the ball over way more than Philadelphia last night, and we still had more fast break transition points. You know why? It's because we had a lot of deflections that don't necessarily get counted in the stat book. So we were awesome like in that way. We were all over the place. They couldn't do anything about that. All right, just talking a bit about like each quarter. First quarter flat, really didn't get into the game. Second quarter, it was the Andre Drummond show, and we were starting to get some steam and get some good energy going and stuff like that. And then the third, bam, we just blew them open. And then we had our reserve guys in the fourth, and we let them come back into the game, Philadelphia. We would have beat them by like 20, 30 points, but in the last quarter, we didn't play well at all. So really, we only played well in the second and the third quarter last night, and we still pretty much routed them. That's impressive. Like seriously, like we beat the crap out of them at certain points in the game last night. And it was really only in the middle of the game, the second and third quarter. So let me just look. All right. The balance was amazing on the team. I mean, like I said in a couple of videos ago, we should not look at individual stats this year because it's going to be coming from everybody, everywhere, and everything. We had like 6 guys stuffing the stats last night, getting points, rebounds, and assists. If you go look at the box score, you've got Justin Champagnie, you've got Scotty Barnes, you've got Delano Banton, you've got Yuta Watanabe, you've got all these guys getting assists and rebounds along with the points. That was amazing. Like that kind of like versatility in like 5 or 6 different players on your team in that game is huge. That's what I'm saying. We're out talenting the other team. Like they couldn't do anything with our talent overall. So it was exciting. And I mean, the guy who impressed me the most last night was Justin Champagnie. I was glad we got him. He seemed like a good, talented project, but I really didn't have any realistic idea that he would do anything on the main roster in the future. But after what he showed me last night, I think we could use him on the main roster down the road. Like if he really does develop, he's weird because he looks like a small forward to me, but he plays like a power forward. Like he doesn't look big enough to do some of the stuff he was doing last night. He was very, very active on the offensive glass. I loved seeing him, Yuta, and Scotty crashing the offensive boards and getting those rebounds. And Justin showed heart and determination. And there were a couple of Raptors that just came out of the blue and just were huge last night. Another one was Siv Mahalik. In the second quarter, he was just the man for the Raptors. Like he really kind of got us going in the game. Like we didn't have anybody really, getting a lot of points or doing anything until Siv kind of took over and started hitting shots and going to the basket and stuff like that. So he was really impressive to me also. But man, when Delano came into the game, talk about Toronto love. The city is in love with him. We gave him a good welcome, and then he came out and he rewarded us almost right away with some spectacular ball handling and going to the basket and just the passing. The passing between him and Scotty Barnes last night was really fun. Like you could tell they were kind of messing around in there too. But once again, with all these guys being young and inexperienced, we're going to have to be ready for a lot of turnovers. The Raptors had way too many turnovers last night. Certain players had a lot themselves. I don't want to say who. And there's just, you can't do these cross-court passes like you can in college or things like that because the NBA skill level is so much higher. They're going to jump in the lane and steal your pass and run. Going to have to adjust to the bigger, better game of the NBA. And they're going to have to look all better. This is going to be a huge issue this year is protecting the ball. We've been so spoiled with Raptor teams that are just so good at protecting the ball and taking care of the ball and not causing turnovers and just this veteran team we've had for many years. But this year we're going to have to let a little leeway for mistakes and bad passing and dribbling the ball off your foot and just really dumb little turnovers that can get worked out over time as these guys get more experienced and savvy as NBA players. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of turnovers and a lot of inefficiency in some ways. Like last night was not an efficient win for Raptors. They could have beat them way better, way better and worse. They could have beat them by 40 or 50 last night if, we hadn't put all those guys in at the end or something like that. Okay, let me just look at my list quick. Also, like I said, the Raptors were great in transition. We got them about 30 fast break points last night, and our assist numbers were really good last night. We got over 30 assists. We had 33 assists or something like that. That's a stat I'm going to look at on our team is team assists. how many assists we get, it's a big deal because it shows we're putting the ball around and different guys are getting involved and getting each other involved. Like, I don't know, if we went down the list and looked at all 33 assists last night and you saw who passed to who in each one of those, the combinations would be varied, very varied. This wouldn't be no Stockton to Malone over and over again. This would be like Barnes to Banton, Banton to Barnes, Mahalik to this. It's going to be like that. So Danny Green was at the game. He didn't get his ring, but man, it was fun to see. Once again, Danny Green had one of his classic, I didn't score any points in this game, but everybody still loves me kind of game. But yeah, seeing him saying hi to the super fan, like on the ground, not what the cameras see, just what you see when the players are migrating around or before game, after game, and all that stuff. The love I saw between Danny Green and Nick Nurse and Pascal Siakam, Chris Boucher, and Superfan was awesome to see. And Fred, everybody. They were so happy to see Danny. And Danny is really in good standing with the Raptors for the most part, even though he was a one-year mercenary for us and helped us get a championship with Kawhi. Danny still got, he's on good terms with us. He's all right in our Raptor books, So I want to talk about Freddie Gillespie. And I posted my video yesterday saying he needs to play big against Philadelphia. Well, he didn't do it last night. He didn't make his statement game last night. He came in, he got 2 quick fouls early in the game, and then he didn't play until later in the game again. And, he had a basket. He had some stuff. But this is the thing I was looking for the most from Freddie Gillespie, is some sort of containing of the big man on the other team. And honestly, his defense is boxing out. His aggressiveness and rebounding and stuff like that wasn't there last night for me personally. Like, I seen it last year at different times where he's on and he's playing really well and it works, but it was not there right now for him. And I'm really worried that he may be over trying, and that's what's getting in his way right now, that he needs to let the game come to him naturally a little bit better. And hopefully that'll happen over the next few days in the preseason. But you know what? If I had to look at what happened last night with the big men, Isaac Bonga was better than him. Isaac came in and played just a little bit, and he did better in some ways. So I don't know. I'm worried about Freddie. Now, Yuta, I'm not worried about him at all. Yuta, oh my gosh. Like, honestly, I thought Yuta would be kind of at the end of our bench, but I think he's going to be a rotation guy for sure this year. Like, we're going to be getting him into games he'll be one of our main bench guys that's going to come in and provide scoring. The aggressiveness and that he showed last night, just getting in there, mixing it up near the basket to get rebounds and to put the ball back in, was phenomenal. That's even more than what he was showing last year after Nick told him to get more aggressive. He's more physical down low now. And his shot was deadly. And, the crowd loves him. Like, the fans in the arena get crazy for Yuta. Like, they seriously do. I was one of them, but we really love Yuta in Toronto, and that's why he needs to stick around. So, all right, keep on going. Of course, I look down at the bench, the Raptors bench, and I'm looking at how all the coaches are working together and stuff like that. And who's the right-hand man? Who's right there in the Raptors gear, even though he's not even on the team, is Nate Bjorkgren. Like, he's on our coaching staff, guys. He obviously is. We have 10 coaches, and Nate Bjorkgren is one of them. And I love it because it kind of looked just like in the championship year again. He's kind of like a caddy to Nick. When they do these timeouts, he's setting Nick up to sit down and just get everything to the players in the quick time that they have for a timeout. Nate Bjorkgren is great for that. Like, he's so organized and stuff like that. I could see that down there. And the other thing, I loved watching Adrian Griffin and Earl Watson coaching together with Nick and them all kind of talking around. And you can tell Earl Watson's getting a kick out of coaching on this team. Like, he was having a good time last night from what I could see, just being in the arena and stuff like that. Okay. I want to talk about Drummond. Drummond put up a monster stat line against us last night, and we couldn't deal with him down low. This is going to be something that we're going to have to figure out. I think that it was just that we didn't have the specific personnel last night to try and contain him and be physical with him without having like key guys like Birch and Boucher, because honestly, nobody did anything to stop him last night. Precious was ineffective against him. Freddie Gillespie was ineffective against him. None of the rookie guys stepped up and tried to physical him. We just couldn't do anything with Drummond. But the great thing about Drummond is, and the great thing that he's not on our team, guys, because we never really did want him on our team. Let's not get it twisted, is that he's so inefficient as a player, even if he's playing well. His team usually loses, even if he gets a double-double like that. That's the thing. Like, players like Andre Drummond look great on a stat sheet, but in the reality of basketball, they actually are a drain on your team. So, yeah, what a game, Paul, for sure, man. It was the thing I loved about it was we had so many different guys doing so many different things all the time during the game. Like, it really did turn into like we're just out talenting like Philadelphia at different levels. Like, you have your starters against starters, how they lock up talent-wise is usually pretty even. Then you go to your bench, and then somebody's bench is usually better than the other person's bench. But then when you go even deeper to that third level of like development players that are coming up in a system, the Raptors, when they get to that level against other teams, they just kill them. They kill them. I don't know if it's 905 or just the way we do things, or because we have a set system and the players playing it and they understand it more. They have more of a ground framework to jump off of to succeed in. But we just kill teams like that. Usually with our deeper units and out talenting and stuff like that. So it was all right. Yes, Paul, let's see. It definitely seems our starters can match any team starters, but our bench is going to walk. I totally agree with this, because there's a certain level of drop off between your starters and your bench usually. And I don't see it with us. Like, it really is an interchangeable kind of starting lineup. We can put different guys out there and it won't be a drop off. Like, if we want to start Dragic one night instead of somebody else, that's not a big deal, because he's a veteran. He knows his stuff. And look at this. We had Birch, Boucher, Siakam, and Gary Trent Jr. That's 3 projected starters that were supposed to start for us that didn't play last night. And I love that they picked Precious, Goran, and Scotty to take those 3 starting spots last night. I love this that Scotty got to start his first game in the Air Canada Center last night and have that feeling, get his name called out and get that enthusiasm and all the dancing on the bench and just the good feelings and vibes. And you can tell when he's out there, he mixes a combination of having fun and really wanting to win. Like, there's moments in the game when Scotty Barnes is on the court and you can just tell he's going to force his will on the game to help his team to win. And it may be him getting on the floor and going after balls, or just like getting on the boards and like battling down low to get rebounds. Because there was an offensive rebound he got late in the game last night he had no business getting. And there was a couple of plays where the play got broken, but because of his talent and athleticism, he could recover and still score. And he had a little bit of everything. He had that nasty dunk at one point, and oh, man, it's just going to be a real joy to watch this team this year. And, all right, this is the huge stat of the night that I want to talk about right now. And this is going to blow y'all away, because, like, honestly, it blew me away when I looked at it later. If you take the fourth quarter out of the game last night, when they put the end of the bench guys trying to make the team, the Raptors were shooting like 55% for the game. When's the last time the Raptors have shot over 50% in a game? They've always shot around 40% to 45%. They shot 50% last night, over 50%. They would have shot 55% from the field as a whole if they hadn't had that fourth quarter, let the Philadelphia team come back a little bit too. We would have beaten them by more. We had 100 points after the third quarter was over. I mean, we were killing it. Seriously, I take this in different ways. All right. The Raptors historically have been an undersized team. We've started Fred and Kyle at guards. We've had shorter players at different positions down low. We're bigger now. So we should expect our shooting percentage, even in a bad, inefficient game like that, we shot 50%. That's going to happen a lot. I mean, if you look down the box score, you got Freddie, you got Scotty, you got Precious, you got Delano. All these guys shot a really high percentage. And I think that that's just going to be because we're taller, we're faster, we're more talented. So this year we can get baskets easier than we ever have before. Like, seriously, that's going to happen. Man, but I love this. I love this. I don't want to go too long. I know I'm already at 20 minutes and stuff like that. Let me see what Paul's been saying. Yeah. In game 2, exactly. I want to see what changes are happening. I really want to see them lock down the centers on Philadelphia on Thursday, because that's really a big, huge thing that was lacking last night that bothered me. That Andre Drummond shouldn't be able to operate like that. Somebody needs to like put a body on him, or we need to have that help defense where 2 guys come and get him. But we weren't doing any of that. We didn't do anything down low last night that made me happy. We really won on just scrappiness, energy, talent, and just enthusiasm. And it was fun, like watching the bench react during the game with the youngsters and like things, and just seeing like Slim Dunk being there with the, at the end of the bench in his cool gear, and like just you could tell he's just dropping cool knowledge on the youngsters on the team. And I love seeing all the support staff. Like, I used to work there. I know a ton of people that work there. Tony is down in 120 shooting the shit like old times. And I went and saw Mercedes, and there's you see all the court that you see, like John Attilia, the security guy of Raptors, or a super fan, or you see like Eric Smith and Paul Jones in the radio. It just feels good. You hear Herbie, oh my gosh. It was a really great homecoming. It felt good. There was only 8,000 people at the game last night. It was loud at times, but honestly, it's pales in comparison what these guys are going to get when we get full capacity again. And I mean, I wonder what people like Fred and OG felt like last night to hear a real crowd for them again after last year and all the crap they had to put up with in Tampa. It felt good. And this year is going to be exciting. There's going to be problems with inefficiency, turnovers, and rookie mistakes, just making dumb mistakes. But the fun thing is these guys are so talented and athletic that they can actually turn around and make up their mistakes in the same play. They may mess up and then do a really crazy, incredible play on top of it to make up for it all of a sudden. Because I saw that a bunch last night too. And man, but anyway, I'm going to go. I appreciate you guys watching and listening. I'm going to keep coming on today and giving me my little 2 cents on Raptor world. But yeah, it just felt good to have them back in Toronto, back in the building, back being loud. I didn't lose my voice completely. I was trying to yell, but I kept pulling my mask down and defense, and pulling it back up when it wasn't. And it was just, I love this team, and I love that they're back, and I know it's just going to be really exciting. There's going to be ups and downs, but honestly, I think we're going to win most games because we just have that mentality, and we can over-talent people this year. We really can, just by being quicker, bigger, and faster, and just like messing people up. Like, I don't think that Philadelphia shot poorly enough. Like, we didn't really intensify our defense on them in the right ways. We weren't organized. Like, everything was just kind of thrown out there. Like, it didn't seem very organized. I don't know if Nick Nurse was really trying to do a whole lot of like set stuff and hold guys accountable. I think he was just kind of like, hey, we're back. Let's have some fun. Let's just get out there and try and do things correctly. And, hey, all right, Thursday. I'll have a thing tomorrow, kind of an in-between thing, and then I'll do a game preview on Thursday. Like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Thanks, Paul, for interacting with me this morning. And hey, we're back, baby, and we're back and better than ever. Seriously, like how win like that? Like, we were so ineffective. like inefficient. We were effective, but inefficient. So many turnovers. Really got beat down low, but we killed them still. Like we routed them. That was a route. Okay. All right. Go Raptors. Woo!